The best part when it comes to pizza is that there are a million possibilities when it comes to topping and sauces, so you can make it to anyone's liking. This is a classic homemade pizza recipe, including a pizza dough recipe, step-by-step instructions, and topping suggestions. So let's make the perfect pizza at home. We begin this recipe by proofing the yeast. I'm using fresh yeast. This gives you the quickest and best results when it comes to any type of dough. But of course you can also use instant yeast. Just replace it with a sachet of 7 grams. So we're going to add 25 grams of fresh yeast in a bowl together with 1 teaspoon of sugar. This is food for the yeast and it activates it quicker. Then you're going to add 100 milliliters of warm but not hot water. Anything that burns your fingers will kill the yeast. So ideally it should be around 105 degrees Fahrenheit. So you're going to stir it and then add a few tablespoons of flour on top. We're going to let it sit until it becomes foamy and bubbly. This takes around 5 minutes, but you have to keep it in a warm space. Now when it comes to flour, a stronger bread flour is recommended. You can also buy Italian 00 flour, which is especially good for pizza. But I've also done this recipe countless times with simple AP flour and had great results each time. So measure out 500 grams of 3 cups of flour and add in 7 grams of salt. In the bowl of a stand mixer, add in your flour and make a well in the middle. Then add in your proofed yeast. Add your dough hook attachment and start mixing on low until the dough starts to form. If your dough is too dry and you still have flour that hasn't incorporated, you can add in a few more tablespoons of warm water. Once your dough has formed into a ball and you no longer have flour, you can add in your olive oil, about 3 tablespoons of a good extra virgin olive oil. You can also make this dough without a stand mixer. Just flour your work surface and knead the dough for about 7 to 10 minutes. I'll show you 2 ways of kneading this dough. You can either hold the dough ball with one hand and spread it forward with your other hand and then pull it back towards you. Or you can use both your hands and push it forward while also rolling it. It's gonna take about 10 minutes until the dough is elastic and no longer sticks to your fingers. Once your dough is ready, roll it into a bowl and lightly grease a clean large bowl with olive oil. If you added too much oil, like I just did, just remove some with a paper towel. Add in your dough and cover with a cling film or a clean damp kitchen towel. We're going to let this proof in a warm space for at least 30 minutes or until it has doubled in size. While your dough is proofing, you can use this time to make a great pizza sauce that's ready in literally minutes and will elevate your pizza game. For this great tomato sauce, you're going to need 1 shallot or half a yellow onion, 3 cloves of garlic, and some fresh basil. Dice your shallot into small pieces. Then take 3 cloves of garlic and crush them with your knife so you can easily peel them. And then you can cut them into small bits as well. Now pluck a handful of fresh basil leaves. Roll them tight together and slice them thinly. In a small saucepan, add in some olive oil and place it on medium-low heat. Once the oil is hot, you can add in your diced shallot. Sweat it for a few minutes until it becomes translucent. Then you can add in your diced garlic. After a minute or so, you can open up your can of diced tomatoes and add it along with your freshly cut basil. Add some salt and pepper to taste and let it simmer for 10 minutes on low heat. Take your pot off the heat and using a hand blender, blend your sauce until you reach a smooth consistency. Careful not to burn yourself. Don't set the blender on the highest speed and don't lift it off the bottom of the pan. Otherwise, you'll end up repainting your kitchen walls. You can also skip this part if you don't mind the chunky sauce. Now that your sauce is ready, you can prepare your toppings. This is the part where you can get creative. Anything is permitted. I'm going to peel and cut some fresh white champignons for my prosciutto funghi pizza. And then I'm slicing up some chorizo for my spicy pepperoni pizza. As for the cheese, always mozzarella. Either fresh mozzarella in brine or a less juicy one. Cut it into slices and set aside with the rest of your toppings. Now the next part is not negotiable. You need a pizza stone. The results you get using a pizza stone versus not using one are uncomparable. This is how you get crisp edges and an amazing cooked pizza base. Plus, you can find pizza stones anywhere nowadays, and they're cheap. So place your pizza stone inside the oven 1 hour before you actually cook your pizza. And set your oven on the highest temperature. Mine goes up to 250 Celsius or 480 Fahrenheit. When your dough has doubled in size, lightly punch it down. Then turn it out into the work surface. Divide it into 2 equal portions. You can weigh them to keep them even, but I almost always just eyeball it. Now it's time to shape your pizza. First, you need to oil your work surface. Using a rolling pin, shape your pizza by rolling it into opposite directions so it stretches evenly. If you're more experienced, you can also use your hands to stretch the dough with your knuckles. Make sure you don't make it bigger than your pizza stone. Now I'm going to place it on a piece of parchment paper so that it's easier to transfer in and out of the oven. Now that your dough looks like a pizza, it's time to assemble it. Place a ladle of that aromatic tomato sauce on and spread it evenly. Add your mozzarella slices. Do not overcrowd your pizza with fresh mozzarella if you don't want to end up with a soggy center. It will leave a lot of liquid that won't absorb well. And now for my sliced chorizo. You can switch it with pepperoni if you desire. To spice it up, I'm going to add some slices of chili or jalapenos. And lastly, I'm going to drizzle some chili oil. This pizza is not for the faint of heart. It's spicy and aromatic at the same time. To top it off, add some mozzarella cut into cubes to make this pizza extra cheesy. Slide it on your pizza peel and then directly onto your hot pizza stone. This will be ready in just under 10 minutes. Just keep your eye on it. Once the crust is golden and the cheese is melted, your pizza is ready. For my other pizza, I'm going to spread the dough a little bit thinner so we can make a stuffed cheese crust. Add some mozzarella cut into thin strips along the edge of your pizza dough. Then, tuck it in by pulling the edge of the dough in and using your fingers press it down firmly to close it up. This way, the cheese won't slide out of your dough pocket once it's melted. Now, just like our other pizza, we are going to ladle in your tomato sauce and spread it evenly. Next, you're going to add your mozzarella slices. And this time, I decided to also add in some grated Parmesan cheese for the extra flavor. Now add some fresh basil to complement your tomato sauce. As for the meat, I'm going to add some slices of a good quality prosciutto to cover all the pizza. And finally, some slices of fresh mushrooms. I'm using champignons. Now drizzle some good quality olive oil on top and your prosciutto funghi pizza is ready to slide into the oven. After 10 minutes, take a sneak peek into your oven. If your pizza looks something like this, cheesy and oozing with all that chili oil and chorizo deliciousness, you can take it out. Allow it to cool for a minute or two and then slice it with a pizza cutter. Now you know what to do next. Set the table and get everyone together to enjoy the most delicious pizza you've ever had. Making it on your own makes it 10 times better than any takeout.